Hey guys, welcome to my new video, and in this video I will be giving you guys 10 tips for playing Riven when falling behind. The first few tips will be very basic tips, and the more we get into the video, the more advanced the tips will become. So getting into the first tip of today's video, we have set up lane for ganks. Now this is by far the most easy thing to do as Riven, because Riven has two types of CC and has a way to engage. So if you freeze your lane at your side of the lane, then it should be no trouble for the jungler to come and help your lane. Most of the time, it doesn't really matter if the enemy team has a ward inside of the bush, because as for Riven, it's so easy to engage in and have so many type of CC, they won't really be able to get away with this most of the time. Also, let's be honest that in the lower elos, talking about bronze to gold, most of the time people are not even warding. Also, this tip doesn't just apply for when you are falling behind in lane, but it also just applies in general. So the next tip I'm giving to you guys is win by doing absolutely nothing. So now to be more specific, what exactly do I mean with this? So basically what most of the people do once they fall behind in lane is that they're trying to make plays to get back into the game. Most of the time those plays are not going to work, and then they will start feeding their lane. You would be surprised how many games you could win if you only did not feed that lane. Like literally there's been so many games where you as the player are playing really good in the game, and then you have a teammate having a really bad game and actually feeding off his lane. So the next time when you are having a really bad laning phase, just play safe and try not to feed your lane. Because if your teammates are winning the game, you will only make it easier for your teammates to carry you. Yes, I know that trusting teammates is a bad thing to do, but if you're losing your laning phase, don't make it even worse by feeding your lane. Sometimes you just gotta give trust to other people. Now for the next tip I'm giving to you guys, it's use your flash only for teamfights. So one way to get back as the Riven player is to keep your flash for every teamfight possible. Riven has one of the best engages in the entire game in my opinion if she has her flash up. You don't necessarily need to get a lot of kills to do this. If you can hit multiple targets with your flash engage, you can stun all of the enemies that you have hit, and you can also throw out all of the damage that you have. So if you are really behind in the game and you're somehow being caught by the enemy team, don't use your flash to get away, because that has no meaning anymore. You are behind in the game, so you're no longer worth any gold. Also, if you are really falling behind very far in the game, I recommend you getting a Hydra. This item will definitely help you out if you want to be doing a flash engage. This doesn't just apply for the people that want to get back into the game, but also applies for the people that are having a good game and wants to engage with a flash combo. So for the next tip, we have a primary target in teamfights. So you might be in a situation when you are really far behind in the game. But the thing is, even though you don't really have that many items, Riven is still a champion that doesn't rely on that many items to do a lot of damage. So my recommendation is that if you are having a really bad game and you're really that far behind, always make sure you have a primary target. And what I mean with this, if the enemy team has a champion which is really low on health but has a ton of kills and is really scary, you should try to focus that person in the team fight. Most of the time you don't really need that many kills as a Riven player to be able to kill an AD carry or an AP carry. So always make sure that when there's a team fight and you don't have your flash up, always make sure you have a primary target. Riven may not be an assassin for this case, however she does have so many gap closers and so many dashes, it should be no problem for you to get close to your primary target. So for the next tip, we have defend your AP or AD carry. So what if you are really far behind in the game and you don't have your flash up and you don't have a primary target? You can always decide to help your AD or your AP carry. Since Riven doesn't really need that many items to be able to deal a lot of damage, it's really easy for Riven to blow away whatever gets close to their AD or AP carry. The best situation possible is when your AD or AP carry is very huge and has a lot of golden items. If you can only help them get away whatever gets close to them, they will be able to carry your game for you. Like literally there has been so many games which I won simply because I defend my teammates instead of actually trying to carry the game myself. Yes, you need to trust your teammates again, however, this is simply what the game is about. You cannot always carry the game yourself. Sometimes you need to give your teammates a chance to be able to carry the game for you. Anyway guys, we have already covered 5 tips and I want to be giving 5 more tips. So the next tip will be buy a ward even when behind. So basically this is what a lot of people don't do anymore once they fall behind. However, what you see happen a lot nowadays is that people are actually going to dive you if you are really behind in lane. Most of the time it's not only the enemy top laner involved with this, but also the enemy jungler. Now this is one of the reasons why you need to buy a ward even when you are falling behind. You can always place the ward deep inside of your own jungle or place it somewhere around the lane so you always know that the jungler is coming. And yes, you can also put your trinket in there, however you don't always have your trinket up. So the next time you come from your base, always make sure you buy a ward before you walk back into lane. You would be surprised how many times you could save yourself only if you bought that ward and place it down inside that bush. So for the next tip we have go for picks. This might be a very easy thing to say and also a very easy thing to do, but the thing is that people are so focused on making plays in the game, they're actually forgetting about what the game is so easy about. In other words, you need to try and pick those people out that are making a mistake, and based on that, you are trying to get back into the game. So one good example what I mean with this is the enemy team is split pushing in the top lane and he somehow makes the mistake and gets caught by 2 people. So the best way to come back into the game is based on people their mistakes. The only problem is people are forgetting how they make those picks because people are only being focused on making plays themselves. So the next time when you are trying so hard to get back into the game, just try to focus on the mistakes that the enemy team is making and use that to your advantage. So for the next tip we have max your E against poke matchups. So when you are having a really bad laning phase and there's absolutely nothing that you can do, if the enemy laner is a champion that has a lot of poke and probably range too, something you can do is max your E first into W into Q. This is something that people used to do all the time back in the days of season 4 and 5. Because of a lot of changes, people have stopped doing this. However, in season 9 there has been a new change. There's now a new rune called the shield bash. So if you max E first, you can actually make a lot of use of your shield bash. But you don't necessarily need to have the shield bash, you can also do it without. The only thing is that maxing E first will help you out to survive the laning phase. Remember what I said earlier, that if you're not feeding your lane, that means that you will be able to have a chance to win the game. The only problem that you have is you will get your damage a little bit later on in the game. So basically you are sacrificing your damage in order to be able to survive your laning phase. So for the next tip we have build tank Riven in the early game. Now to be more specific with this, I mean that if you are playing against a heavy AP champion, make sure you always get that Hex Drinker first. Also, if you are playing against a poke matchup, always make sure you get the cloth armor as soon as possible. They will definitely help you out to make your laning phase a lot easier. The good thing about Hex Drinker is that it's not only giving you magic resist and the shield, but it's also giving you damage. And also the thing about the cloth armor is it's not really that expensive. It's only 300 gold and it makes you more tanky. So the next time when you are having a really bad laning phase, always make sure you get that tanky items in the early game. They are not really that expensive at all, so always consider them if you are having a really bad time. Now for the last tip of today's video guys, we have buy sustain items. So basically the only problem that Riven has is that she has no type of sustain. So what I do when I have a really hard laning matchup, I always tend to go for 2 Doran Blades and also getting a Lifesteal Scepter. This is the best when you are playing against champions that are really tanky and doesn't really do that much damage. One of the examples is Maokai. Maokai is a champion that doesn't really do that much damage in the trade. So if you get that early game sustain, then that should be enough to be able to survive the laning phase. Anyways guys, this was it for the video. If you think that this video was really helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe guys. If you have questions about Riven, don't forget to ask them in the Discord channel or leave them down in the comments below guys. So once again, thank you so much for watching the video man. I will see you guys in the next one man. Peace.